Hello Pisces, welcome to my channel and welcome to your December 2023 Tarotscope. Thank you so very much for joining me. It is an absolute blessing to be here with you. In the description box below, you will find links to information on personal readings, information on the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram, and information on donations if you would like to explore any of those options. However, no pressure. There will also be a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. However, please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so use your discernment and take only what resonates with you. You may also want to check out your Sun, Moon, and Rising Tarotscopes for deeper insights to your month. December is a universal 1 month, which means as we close out 2023, a new cycle begins. This happens every 9 years and does invite us to get a head start on what might unfold for us as we move forward. The number 1 resonates with the energies and attributes of new beginnings, instinct and intuition, creation, inspiration, uniqueness, action, motivation, self-leadership and self-empowerment, positivity, and creating our own realities. This is what we're going to be diving deeper into for this month, looking at your overall energy, what wants to be created through or for you, what challenges this might present, and getting some advice to best support and serve you moving forward. Before we dive in, Pisces, I do want to share with you that this is not my first attempt at recording your reading. I actually did complete your reading in its entirety and had about an hour and 20 minutes there for you. But when I went to upload it to YouTube, I actually got this feeling that something changed, or I just felt called to do it again. So here we are. Let's dive in and see what December is bringing through for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, spirits, guides, angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the overall energy of December 2023 for Pisces, please. Oh, wow. Thank you. Tell us, please, what wants to be created through or for Pisces. This does not have to be physical, by the way. This can certainly be perspectives, meanings, beliefs, and things like that. What challenges might this present? Okay, thank you. And what advice will best support and serve Pisces? Right, thank you. Tell us more, please, about the overall energy of December 2023 for Pisces, please. Tell us more, please, about the overall energy of, okay, wow, interesting. All right, tell us more, please, what, okay, tell us more, please, what challenges might this present for Pisces? Okay, and tell us more, please, what advice will best support and serve Pisces moving forward? Wow. All right. Anything else? Okay. Thank you. Anything else we need to know or may have missed, please, about what wants to be created through or for Pisces? Anything else we need to know or may have missed, please? Yep. Okay. Thank you. Anything else we need to know or may have? Okay. Thank you. And anything else we need to know? All right. Okay. Pisces, the overall energy for you for December. We do have here deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. This actually was the card that showed up in the first recording that I did for your sign, but it was actually in the challenge position, which here's the interesting part that I find about that. I feel like the shift that I was speaking on, you know, why I felt like I had to perhaps come in and redo this reading for you. I almost feel like this went from being simply a challenge to being the overarching energy for you for December, because I feel like it's so freaking important. um, it's interesting to me. I feel as though for some of you, there's this energy of needing to be held. And I don't mean that in a physical sense by another person. I feel like this is you, Pisces, needing to hold yourself. I feel like this is needing to show up for yourself, to allow yourself to rest, to allow yourself to retreat. And there is this energy of sitting with yourself. Okay. A lot of times we move through life and we're just kind of going through the motions. We're very kind of out of body. That's not to say that you aren't doing things that maybe you enjoy, or, aren't necessarily like aware of yourself in certain moments, but we do spend a lot of time outside of our body, not really sitting in our body, being aware of what's coming in and if it's ours and if it's healthy for us and if it's good for us and if it's something that's going to evolve us, right? So I do feel like there's this energy of needing that. You know, I've known a lot of Pisces in my life and I've loved every one of them very deeply. Um, but, Pisces does tend to, in some cases, have this escapist kind of energy. And I'm not saying that to criticize you or point fingers, it simply is what it is. But that I feel is contributing to this kind of like being out of body. Maybe this has something to do with not wanting to sit in your emotions or sit in your truth. Again, I feel like this really does not mean that you aren't having experiences or moments that you enjoy or that means something to you. But I feel like when it comes to the lower egoic aspects of yourself, I feel like perhaps these are things that you would rather not, right? Like I just feel like you would rather just not deal with it. You may even be someone who is quite indecisive, right? In order to avoid actually, stepping fully into or out of something. So it does feel like to me the overall energy for you is to really, or let me rephrase, I feel like the overall energy is encouraging you to seek this deep replenishment, to hold yourself, support yourself, nurture yourself, show up for yourself, and to allow yourself to, it's such an interesting energy because there's an aspect of this that is asking you to retreat, but I feel like it's retreat from the noise, retreat from the distraction, retreat from, all of these different people or situations, environments, all of these things that are keeping you distracted. Because I feel like there's a lot of work that goes into avoiding things. There's a lot of work that goes into keeping a lid on the things that we would rather not deal with. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like this is why this is showing up. I mean, even in this card here, there's water, there's the moon, right? These are deeper, emotional, intuitive, sensitive kinds of energies. All right. Let's see what else we have here for you. Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. I'm pretty sure this card showed up for you in the other reading as well. Also, I believe it was in a different position. I actually feel like it was in the position of what wants to be created for you. And again, it's interesting because these energies are moving to the focal point. Not to say that we shouldn't be focusing on what wants to be created or the challenges that that might bring, but it just feels like this is so important that it needs to be the center, that it needs to be the more prominent thing, or how do I say? the energy that has to have this understanding, right? I hope that makes sense. Like, it just feels like it's been pushed to the forefront or the front of the line type of thing. Like it's been moved up in the priority list, and instead of being perceived or perhaps as, something good or bad, it just needs to be seen as the energy, so that I almost feel like there may be some who are more receptive to it as an overall energy versus, let's say, as a challenge. Okay. So with this energy of creating heaven on earth that's happening, I feel as though for some of you, I feel like there's this desire for harmony. I feel like there's this desire for peace, for, I'm getting love, but I don't necessarily want to say that I mean like love between yourself and an external person or situation. It feels more like love of self, like a deep, deep love, deep, deep reverence and respect for self. I feel as though, so for me, right, heaven is not somewhere you go. It is not something you eventually, it's not a destination, right? It's not something that you eventually find your way to. Heaven is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And, in the mystery teachings, there's that as within, so without. So, for example, if you are able to cultivate heaven within you, you will eventually experience that outside of yourself, right? So I feel as though an aspect of being able to bring this into fruition, where you do feel more harmonious, more peaceful, more balanced, more centered, where you feel that love for yourself, that deep reverence for self, I feel like there's a need to connect with your deeper self, with your divinity. I do feel like for some of you, there has been an incredible challenge, which this did come through in the other reading as well. There's been this incredible challenge with organized religion or spirituality. You may have had some negative experiences or traumatic experiences with, like I was saying, organized or dogmatic religion, or spirituality. And I feel like this has created for some of you this barrier between you and your own divinity, between you and your soul. I'm actually seeing it as like someone almost like when you're trying to close like a suitcase, but it's really full, and like pushing down to try to get it, zipped. That's actually how I'm kind of seeing this, because I feel like it's almost okay. So there's a few things I'm getting with that image. One being um trying to, how do I say this? It's almost this energy of like burying your divinity, or pushing it down, or like, something like that, like trying to keep it tucked away, or something of that nature. Perhaps this isn't necessarily divinity itself or your divinity itself. Perhaps this is spirituality and religion and, any kind of spiritual practices or beliefs or something like that. Just wanting to keep it like out of sight. I don't know if that makes sense. So there's that. But I also feel that for some of you, there's this, seeing that suitcase and like trying to like shove things in and like keep the like the lid, if you will, closed. There's this energy of having all of this trauma and wounding and programming and things that is, it's just kind of, I have all of this baggage. I have all of these experiences that have not felt good to me. So that being said, like, how could I possibly believe in this loving God? You know, how could I possibly connect or relate to this, or be a child of, you know, this being in the sky who is punishing and allows all of these, you know, terrible things to happen? I don't know if this is making any sense, but it really just feels like there's this big disconnect for some of you between yourself, like your physical self, and your soul, and or your divinity and God. And I feel as though the reason why these two cards are coming out together is because I feel like there's this, again, this really big encouragement to be able to sit with yourself and to, okay, yes, you guys, I have all over body chills right now. So I'm going to share this with you. Please do know that this is not coming from a dogmatic religious place at all. At all. Okay. I have been diving into more esoteric Christianity type of practices or wisdom, and I myself have struggled with the more dogmatic religious perspective of God and Christ. I just want to make that very clear. And over probably the last, I don't know, like 8-ish months, I've been really gaining knowledge about these more esoteric concepts. So, but still, the reason I'm saying that is because I picked up on that resistance to these things before, you know, already. So I don't want this to hit a wall when I say this, okay? But there is that energy coming through, and it's very loud, if you will, to me, where it's essentially, and I am no Bible scholar, so forgive me if you know better than I, but it is that, you know, Christ essentially saying, like, come to me, all who are heavy. What is it? Come to me, all who are burdened and heavy laden, or something like that. Come to me, all who are heavy. Oh gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. If my Bible was right here, I would pull it out and just try to find it. You probably know what I'm talking about. I feel like, you know, you may have heard this before, but it's, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest, or something like that. Okay, thank you, Spirit, for bringing that through. Because I feel like part of the rest, or part of the overall energy, is encouraging or wanting to allow you or give you this opportunity to rest. Because I feel like the things that you've been carrying, Pisces, are very heavy. I feel, right? Like I'm getting that energy of like trying to shove all the things in the suitcase and like push it down so you can zip it and keep it closed. And I feel like there's so much there's so many things that you've been carrying around. And I feel like even if you are somebody who is like, you know, out living life and, you know, enjoying different parts of yourself and your experience and whatever, I feel like when there's this emotional tiredness, there's this spiritual tiredness, because I feel like this is not something that has been worked through. This is not something that's been healed or released. And so you're just kind of walking around with these huge bags piled on your back. So it feels like there is this, you know, come to me and I will give you peace. I will give you rest. This is blowing my mind. This definitely did not come through in the other readings that I did for you. So again, this is not coming from a place of dogma, okay, around spirituality or religion. This is coming from a place of having this deep understanding that the things that happen for us, not to us. And God loves us so much that God will put us, or let me rephrase that. God loves us so much that God will, or allows us to make whatever choices, right? But God will still bring us to the challenge so that we can evolve, so we can grow, right? And we have, whether believed or not, we have the Christ impulse within us. Certainly, we have the opposing forces as well. Again, this is something that I've been learning through Rudolf Steiner's work and Gigi Young's work. She has an amazing channel here on YouTube, and there are Rudolf Steiner channels who, have wonderful translations of his work, spiritual science. So I feel that, and even based on my own experiences, when we allow Christ in, when we allow God in, there's a liberation that comes with that. Certainly healing, facing our shadow, facing our darkness, facing our trauma, facing our wounding, facing our fears, facing all of our pain is an incredible challenge. There's no way around that. But it is far less painful to face those things than it is to carry them. Okay? So again, I feel like part of why this is coming through as your overall energy is because there's that offering to you, Pisces, of you can rest here. And I know people, including myself, who have had some unexplainable experiences when it comes to seeking rest in God. And again, this is somebody who struggled, with a relationship with God. So I'm gonna leave it there. But that opportunity is there for you, and I feel like the overall energy is opening up its arms to you if you choose. But aside from that, I feel like the overall energy is saying, essentially, when you're rejecting parts of yourself and you are imbalanced, so if you're more focused on, let's say, the spiritual, the physical over the spiritual, or the spiritual over the physical, the body over the mind. I mean, there's multiple ways this can go. But if you're more heavily focused on one area of your life and are not bringing balance into the other aspects of yourself, it's pretty much impossible to create that kingdom of heaven within you, right? That requires purifying your heart. That requires, reconciling for, the things that you've experienced. It requires forgiveness. It requires love. It requires truth. And the thing about truth is, especially when it comes to trauma and wounding and love and things, I feel like people expect truth to be easy, or like it's gonna solve the problem. And the fact of the matter is more often than not, like, the truth will set you free, but at first it's gonna hurt a lot. Okay, so take that how it resonates with you, but that is what I'm picking up on. We do have the Hanged Man here, and I do feel like this is the need for a new perspective. Okay? I feel like there is, I mean, that's the overarching theme, is the need for a new perspective. I feel like, here's the thing, Pisces, I feel like you could have, in specific areas of your life, tried to do things to feel more complete, to feel more whole, to, find love for yourself, to feel or find more peace and harmony and what have you. But I feel like it may feel like you're just missing the mark, like there's something missing, like there's something that's not, it's just not coming together. And I feel like this is where that new perspective is being offered, right? Because in order to feel that oneness, to feel that that completion, we have to be willing to face all aspects of ourselves, light and shadow. And we all have it. I don't care how saintly one thinks they are, or, how perfect one thinks they are. We every single one of us, no exceptions, have light and shadow. We have both of those impulses within us. And if we reject either of those, we cannot find completion. We cannot find oneness. We cannot find that unity within ourselves, right? We will be imbalanced. And there are people who like to think that, oh, if I just don't acknowledge that, if I just don't, accept that as truth, then it's going, then it's not going to bother me. And that is absolutely not the case, right? Because if there's anything I know for certain, with everything that I've learned throughout my life and throughout my own spiritual journey, it is that those traumas, those wounds, those things that you carry around that you think are tucked way deep in the back of a closet somewhere in your mind, they pull the strings from behind the scenes. And a lot of times we don't even know that it's happening. We become aware of that as we start to heal, as we start to peel back our layers and really sit in our own shadow, right? We can start to see where these things have been playing the puppet master. Okay. And this is another reason why I feel that the overall energy is asking for you to consider a new perspective. Okay. And I feel doing so could perhaps get you closer to the results you desire, if this is resonating with you, right? If you are someone who is seeking that harmony within, that peace within, or what I would call the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, I mean, we do have the 10 of Cups here. This is inner peace, inner happiness, inner fulfillment. This is, feeling like, how do I say, it is, carrying, or rather, yes, thank you, sitting in a place of completion. Tens are completion. Cups are your emotions. And it's more specifically, the 10 of Cups is very much about finding that inner happiness, that inner fulfillment, that inner peace. And if this is what you seek, Pisces, then I feel like a new perspective is needed. It is not impossible for you, truly. And I do feel like this is where the energy is trying to take you, but you have to give it permission, right? Like it's not just going to happen. And it's certainly not going to happen if you are denying or resisting or rejecting any aspect of yourself, whatever that is. We also have the Ace of Wands here for you, which, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I feel like this is, so it's really it's super interesting because we go from the 10 to the 1. And really, this is end of a cycle, beginning of a new one, which is where we are with this universal 1 energy. And with the Ace of Wands, this is that energy of creation, desire, right? It is that potential that is available. And I feel like gaining this new perspective, should you allow yourself, could really open the doors to what is actually possible. I feel like for some of you, the whole idea of like complete utter fulfillment, okay, which by the way, I feel even if we were able to if we're able to accomplish that, I still feel like there's challenges because we don't grow and evolve without those catalysts. Okay. So let me just throw that out there. The only difference I feel is that if you are someone who is more, in alignment, you are more harmonious within yourself, you have more peace within, you are more unified within yourself, those challenges are not going to impact you the same way that it would someone who isn't. Okay? I hope that makes sense. But I feel like this is there's an opportunity here for you to recognize that that is actually possible to some degree or another. Maybe it is not like, everything is like absolutely perfect, but within you feels much better than maybe what you have experienced in the past. So it feels as though this Ace of Wands is showing up to I want to say it's almost this showing up in this way to like inspire you on what is possible, if that makes sense. Or to like, open your eyes and inspire you to try to see things differently. I also feel as though there is this energy with the Ace of Wands that is trying to get you more enthusiastic about what is possible. Because I do feel like there are things that I mean, certainly that's part of what we're here for anyways with the Tarotscope spread for this month, but I feel like there are things that do want to be created for you and through you. And I feel like this is trying to get you excited about that. But, again, I feel like there's going to be a perspective change needed for you to even begin to allow yourself to consider that inner peace and a new beginning, one where you are like enthusiastic within your being. Okay, I don't mean enthusiastic about what you're going to do, right? But enthusiastic just because. Okay. Yeah. It just feels like it's trying to get you to that point. What else do we have here? Four of Cups. What a fascinating tarot. Like, because here's the thing, the Four of Cups is disconnected. It's disconnected. Okay? It's apathetic. But I mean, here's the other thing. It can be self-absorbed as well, but it's also an energy of going within or introspection. So, yeah, there's this feeling of like, if you want your life to be set ablaze, right? You want it full of passion and excitement, and you want to be inspired and, excited about life. It's like, you've got to acknowledge the disconnect, right? You've got to acknowledge where within you there is that disconnect especially between you and your emotions and you and spirituality or your intuition, your more mystical side. I mean, Pisces, for crying out loud. I mean, these are, any you could, I mean, I'm no astrologer certainly, but you can ask any astrologer, like, these are traits and characteristics of Pisces, right? Anytime that you look into Piscean traits or characteristics, I mean, some of the first ones you're going to see are psychic, spiritual, mystical, intuitive, sensitive, right? And it's like, it feels to me like there are some of you who are disconnected from one or all of those aspects of yourself. right? One, two, three, or all of whatever that, one or many of them. So again, take that how it resonates. We also have sacred inner space, sacral chakra, tenderness, sensuality. I feel like, so Ace of Wands can be this energy of creation. Okay. Um, and I think it's really quite fascinating, Pisces, especially because you are a creative sign with this sacral chakra coming up, because it is that chakra that governs or represents our creative energies, right? And this is where, if it's blocked or imbalanced, we would experience that emotional isolation. Okay. This is going to, how do I say? So when this is more blocked, right, we don't feel inspired. We may be going through the motions, we may be doing certain things that maybe we like, but it's not about, how do I say this? It's like not, it's not as creative, right? I know that probably goes without saying, like that was probably climactic with what I've just been saying, of course, but I feel like the thing of it is when you're inspired, you are in spirit, you are with spirit. That is where those inspired ideas come from, right? It really brings out our true potential, something that we are really, really passionate about. And I feel like there's this disconnect where it's like we can't tap into that because we are rejecting spirit. Okay? I really hope this makes sense. But this is one of those lower egoic drives. This is where, one of the places where we would find, more of our shadow, more of our darkness, right? The root, sacral, and solar plexus chakras are where we house those, again, those like lower egoic drives, where we are fearful, ungrounded, untrusting, where we're emotionally isolated, or where we have fear of intimacy, where we feel manipulated, or we experience, repressed creativity, repressed sexuality, sexual dysfunction, even, right? We even withhold intimacy, and where we would experience things like low self esteem, powerlessness, insecurity, if they are blocked or imbalanced, right? Or we're holding wounding there. And when we start to open them up, when we start to bring them more into balance, that's when we feel safe, secure, grounded, inspired, open, passionate, sovereign, where we feel confident. Okay, I hope this is making sense. We also have, for what wants to be created through or for you, boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? And it's really quite interesting to me because I feel as though there's this energy of retreat here and this energy of boundaries. And I feel like this more isolated energy, if you will, is where, like, how do I say, why these boundaries want to be created for you, right? It feels like the need to get away from the noise. Noise being other people, other people's energies, like distractions, all sorts of distractions. Okay, whatever these may be. This could also include, certain addictions, whether that be substances, alcohol, television, food, whatever it is. I feel like addictions fall under this boundaries category. I'm getting fear as well. I feel like there's also, again, anything that could distract you from you, your internal you. Like I feel as though there's this need to spend time with your emotions, with your deepest you. Okay. The things you feel, the things you don't want to feel, the things you've buried and repressed and tucked away. I feel like there's this need to just sit with yourself, to really get deeply in touch with yourself. And I feel like that, how do I say, the boundaries that want to be created are trying to assist or encourage bringing forward more of that, how do I say, more of that oneness within, more of that harmony, more of that peace, that balance. Okay. So, this could be certain people, places, situations, environments, relationships, jobs, living situations. I mean, you name it, it's there. I feel like it's boundaries with anything that could distract you from you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here, I'm just gonna, this is wild. So the devil here is those, it's that lower aspect of ourself. It is our ego or our lower egoic drives. And these are the things that draw us into what we would call essentially, or what in esoteric Christianity would be like the hell realms. Okay, these are the things that tie us to that, and our wounding, our trauma, right, our fear, our all of those things I was just listing for those lower chakras, when they're blocked and imbalanced, like those draw us down, 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 right, deeper into our very physical self. And again, like kind of create these strong connections with those hell realms. So, the devil is that puppet master pulling the strings behind the scenes that has that tether on us, you know, and can essentially trap us if we don't do the work required to heal, to release those things or free ourselves. And the devil in the reverse is freedom. It is release. It is regaining control. And I feel like this is why these boundaries want to be created, because I feel as though there's this wanting to assist you in creating sovereignty for yourself, right? Finding your way out of these, how do I say, or rather, finding a way to free yourself from this puppet master that has been controlling things from behind the scenes. Okay, this is also, it's interesting that I picked up this energy of addiction, because this is also in the reverse, this energy of like shaking off addiction, freeing yourself from addiction as well. Okay, again, take what resonates. But this is, essentially, it's really highlighting the polarity on the, let's say, more lower end of our relationships with others and with ourselves, and the choices that we make when we're operating from one or the other, because the devil is connected with the Lovers card. Okay, 1 in 5 devil card is 6. 6 is the Lovers. So this is like, I mean, what wants to be created for you is freedom, is sovereignty, regaining control over those lower egoic drives. We do, oh, good golly, yeah. We have Heart of Source here, all-encompassing love, unconditional acceptance, and serenity. Exactly. This is what I've been talking about this whole time. I mean, for goodness sake, I've been talking for 44 minutes and 44 seconds. And which is funny because fours are about foundations, by the way. Um, so here's the thing. I feel like the foundation that's trying to be created for you in this universal 1 month, which is about planting seeds essentially. And in my membership, I've been getting a lot of information about building these foundations. I feel like everything I've been talking about for the past, 44, 45 minutes has been about creating this connection with source, with God. I mean, at its, how do I say? At its most simple explanation, that's what's trying to happen. Certainly, it's more complex than that, because there's a lot that would go into creating that connection, I feel. But simply put, a lot of what wants to be created here for you is that connection. I'm actually going to read from the guidebook for you with this card. I just feel like there's something that could provide some confirmation or clarity for someone listening. So give me a moment to pop in the book here. There, oh, I was already on the page. Good golly. All right. And it's going to be really interesting. I'm going to read the whole thing, not just the message, because I feel like this is, again, I feel like it's going to bring some confirmation or like really drive home and bring through this like validation for someone. Okay. Because I kind of feel like for some of you, you're like, yeah, okay, this girl is like way left field, type of thing. Okay. So it says here, the source of the universe is a gigantic heart. Its beats are angels and beings of light. It is what many call God. It's the love that is beyond gender and dogma. It's the infinite experiencing infinity. It's all that is, was, and ever will be. It's love being love and expressing love. It's an energy that can be explained but never fully comprehended. It's where we have all come from and will all return. The strangest part of all is that we've never left. Even though we are spiritual beings having a human experience and may feel that a source is separate from us, the truth is that we're always connected, even when we feel we're not. This gateway takes us not upward, but inward. It's the gateway that reminds us that, it's the gateway that reminds us that through the stargate of our heart, we are connected to the heart of creation. Not only that, but we exist and express ourselves within that heart. Even though we may be on planet Earth and experiencing Earth as a planet within the Milky Way, all of this and more is actually being expressed by the heart of Source. The vastness of this divine love is inexplainable, but it's who we are. You are connecting directly with the heart of Source, the creator of life and love. You are blessed to receive this card, for it shows the cup of your heart is being filled with love until it overflows. The divine energy that is with you now is helping you melt away any blockages so that you can be open to the love, acceptance, and appreciation that you deserve. You are being encouraged to view yourself in a loving way and give yourself permission to be loved. If you have been holding back for a while, but are now ready to share the love you have within, this card lets you know it is safe to do so. You are loving, and lovable. Step forward, claim your worth, and enjoy a new level of spiritual openness. You are truly blessed. Right? So again, it's that energy. I mean, here's the thing. Some of you may get really triggered by what I'm about to say, but I feel like there are some of you who are, I mean, we all are as human beings. Let me just first start off by saying that. Okay? But I feel like some of you, like, there's this battle over you between God or the creator, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. I call it God, so that's the term I'm going to use, but feel free to insert whatever resonates with you. There is a battle over you between God and what we might call the devil, So I would refer to this based on what I've learned through Rudolf Steiner's work. I would refer to these energies or impulses as luciferic and Ahrimanic. Ahriman is what we would probably refer to as the devil or Satan. But, I feel like there's a battle for you. And I do feel like this is essentially God stepping up and saying, Pisces, I love you. I care for you. I want to be close to you. And I'm reaching out my hand for you. Certainly, you don't have to take that. But I feel like God is stepping forward, like, and Christ as well, right? Because I did get that that quote. I feel like they're stepping forward to try to create that freedom from those, or how do I say, to try to help to free you from from the grips of those lower drives, right? Which is where beings like Ahriman or Satan and Lucifer love to play. Okay, Ahriman loves when people are addicted to things. Ahriman loves when everything is trying to be physical or literal or explainable, right? Both of them try to, well, let me back up. When you turn your face from God, it's like, they're celebrating. And so I feel as though this is God saying, Pisces, I love you. I'm here. Ooh, that's getting me all in my feels for you, Pisces. Like, it's deep. The love is really deep. It makes me want to cry. Like, and not sad cry, by the way. Like, it just is, the love is so overwhelming that it's hard to contain. Like, it makes me just want to cry. We also have here for you Emerald Tablet Activation, Cosmic Ordering, Divine Alchemy, Conscious Manifesting. So I feel as though, the other part of what wants to be created for you is the ability to heal, right? To transform, to, instead of seeing all of these things that you've been carrying around with you for what they've taken from you, instead, again, becoming the alchemist and rewriting the story and reclaiming your power over them by changing perspectives and recognizing what they gave to you. Okay. And this is one of the only ways, Pisces, that I've been able to work through. And I'm not saying this is what is going to work best for you. We are all different. We all have to find our own things that work. But I feel as though, this is one of the only ways that I could find forgiveness, that I could alchemize certain situations. Like, I really had to see, and like go from what did this take from me to what did this give me? What gift was I given here? And there's something to be found in each of them if one really does look. So I don't know why I'm feeling so called to these books lately, but whatever it is, what it is. I just want to skim through. I don't feel like I need to be reading it all. I feel like there's something here for you that's standing out. I just need to figure out what it is. So give me just a second. Yep, here it is, right here. It says, all that has unfolded so far has given you the opportunity to learn and grow, even the unsettling moments. But you are a master alchemist with the capacity to take all that was once challenging and use it to create positive opportunities for yourself. As above, so below. All the thoughts you send up to Source will contribute to your evolution on Earth. Right, so I feel like there's this wisdom that also wants to be created within you, where you come to this deeper understanding or awareness that whatever you feel internally is going to be reflected back to you in your external experience, right? So that saying, as above, so below, as within, so without, is because we are creators of our own reality. And based on whatever energy, frequency, vibration we're sitting in, based on the things we do, the things we think, the things we say, the things we feel, we are moment by moment creating our reality. Energy is much faster than, how do I say that, than the dense space that we're sitting in. So there are a lot of times that it doesn't manifest as quickly as we might want to believe. Okay. So it can take time, but ultimately, based on what I've learned, man or woman cannot escape what they think, what they say, what they do, what they feel. Right? It finds its way back. So perhaps that's not something that you necessarily believe in, which is perfectly okay. I'm not here to make you believe what I believe, but I do feel as though, this energy of as above, so below, is really acknowledging and understanding that whatever you're holding inside, that is going to create experiences in your reality. And even if you want to look at this from a very scientific approach, our mindset and our beliefs, getting fear, we create neural pathways, and our brain will search for things, right? So you're just going about your business, and maybe you're like, oh, I wish I felt better, or I wish I felt more positive, yada yada, but then you are, sitting in this state of negativity, feeling like, gosh, all of these bad things have happened to me in my life. Your brain has this neural pathway where it's going to seek more things in your experience to prove it to you. I hope that makes sense. So I do feel, again, that there's this divine alchemy that wants to be created for you. Again, I feel like it's part of empowering you. It's part of you reclaiming your sovereignty. It's part of you recognizing the power that you have. The challenges of this, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms, council of light. The challenge here is allowing yourself to connect with that which you cannot see. The spiritual realms, God, source, universe. I mean, for crying out loud, we've been talking about Christ, and here's Christ, right? So the challenge is allowing yourself to change perspectives or be open to new ones and to connect, to allow yourself to recognize that, if you found yourself at this reading, I'm so sorry, you guys. I just heard something. I don't know if it got caught on camera or not, or with my camera's audio, but I definitely just heard something that there's no reason for me to be hearing anything because I'm by myself in here. But anyways, I feel like, again, part of the challenge is, if you found yourself in this reading, and you're resonating with this, that this has been divinely orchestrated to bring these things to your attention. Like, it is God reaching out its hand for you. It is God sending messengers, through the angelic hierarchy, the spiritual hierarchy, the ascended masters, like Jesus, though it doesn't have to be Christ, but reaching out. Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Pisces, you're killing me, Smalls. I'm just kidding. I get it. I do. I really, really do. And there's no judgment or anything like that here. But the Three of Pentacles is like, I don't work well in groups. Like, I'm a solo act. I'm a lone wolf. I don't need help. Right? That's this kind of energy. And, I feel like, again, I feel like this is a challenge for you, Pisces. Right? Getting into that whole concept of like teamwork makes the dream work, of collaborating, stepping into a co-creative relationship with God, with the angelic hierarchy. In my channel, a lot of times, not all the time, of course, but there are a lot of times that I will get this energy of this Three of Pentacles here being that relationship between us, the angelic hierarchy or spiritual hierarchy, and God. And I kind of see it as like this fella here as God the Father overseeing the weaving of the tapestry of your life, right? And here we are, like doing the work, and here's the angels or the spiritual hierarchy, right? Putting in their contribution, because we are co-creators, right? So again, I do feel that part of the challenge for you is allowing that relationship to exist, allowing that connection to be strong or to become strong. Fool in the reverse. I mean, here's the thing. The Fool, right, in the upright position is potential, infinite potential at that. It is new beginnings, okay? It is an energy of cycles, okay? But it is also an energy of spirituality and faith. And I feel like there is a new beginning, and that's part of the challenge in itself, is allowing this new beginning, taking that leap of faith. I feel like faith and spirituality is the challenge. I don't know who this is for or why, but it feels like I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I can take that leap, because it's like I don't trust God. I don't trust the angels, right? But if we are being very honest, okay, and we are realizing that as within, so without. If we don't, if we don't trust God, we don't trust the angels, really we don't trust ourselves, because we carry God, the angels, Christ within us. It's there. So freaking fascinating. Yeah, so we also have here karmic board clearing, energetic clearing, rewrite your story, live your truth. Again, this is the challenge, or it could be, right? Where the challenge is freeing yourself or releasing these lower drives, wounding, trauma, programming, whatever it is, right? Completing, it's interesting because you have karmic board clearing with the Fool, which is that, cyclic energy. We also have the 10 and the Ace, or 10-1, which is also a representation of a cycle, right? Not to mention divine alchemy, which is, taking something that may have been negative for us, or we felt was negative for us, and turning it into something positive, right? The end of a cycle. So the challenge is letting yourself move forward, letting yourself clear out these energies, allowing yourself to write a new story, rewrite your story, right? Also, part of the challenge is living in your truth. What is your truth? The truth is, Pisces, you are a child of God. You are a child of the cosmos. You are a child of the angelic hierarchy. That is the truth. The truth is you have a soul. The truth is God, Christ, the angels live within you. The truth is, though, you also have, those darker or shadow impulses within you. And the truth is, it is our responsibility, what is the word I'm looking for? It is our responsibility to align with what is best for us. Where we are at our current stage of development, initiation, is developing our capital I, our individuality. right? That means that it is our responsibility to choose, right? To choose to evolve or not. To choose to get trapped in the lower egoic drives, trapped in our wounding, our trauma, you know, our darkness, our shadow, or to rise into the light. Choose to heal, choose to love, choose to have an open heart, choose to align with the life wave or the Christ impulse. You know, so again, I feel like the challenge is, you know, part of it is living the truth at, what is it? Living the truth that you are a divine being. You have a soul, and that there are divine beings supporting your journey, that are co-creating your reality with you, supporting you, loving you. The advice that is going to best support and serve you moving forward. We have awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. So you have energetic clearing here, and now energetic upgrades in the advice section of your spread. Right? The advice that's going to best support and serve you is to allow a new way of being, to awaken to a new way of being, to integrate what you learn as you peel back the layers. Wow. I mean, I think a big part of it is just simply, you know, the advice being allowing yourself to awaken to a new way of being. To even allow yourself to see that perspective. Because I feel like for some of you, there's been this total like, shut it down. Birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. Holy crap, Pisces. I mean, you have here, you know, this energy of creating heaven on earth. It's happening. We have a new way of being, integration, right? And now you have dreaming a new world into being. Like, I feel that the advice here for you is you have this opportunity to not only move into a new way of being, but to experience a new world, to bring that into being. And it's interesting that there's this energy of birthing new creations when you have this creative energy showing up with the sacral chakra, right? And that energy of perhaps that being a bit blocked. But I feel like it's more about that co-creative aspect being blocked. So, you know, the advice is like, this is what is possible for you. This is where the potential is. And if you allow, you could awaken to a new way of being and dream a new world into being. Okay? Because again, we're in that universal 1 month. It is an energy of creation. And if you think of like the magician in the tarot, it's you have everything within you to succeed. And, you know, we activate the magic within us by focusing our energy, willpower, desire, and actions to co-create or shape our world, right? And we use that power within us to consciously step, step into our personal power, right? To step into our sovereignty, to take up challenges with complete faith and trust in ourselves. And we do not allow fears to limit us or hold us back. And we don't focus on them, because that is what we will manifest, right? And we want to be intentional, because the seeds that we are planting now will eventually come to harvest, right? It is that universal one energy. And there's a whole lot that wants to be created for you, right? That you have the opportunity to create this month. But again, it is the advice I feel is like, if this is what you want, This is what you have to allow. This is what you have to give yourself permission to experience. Like, give yourself permission to dream, even before you see it in front of you. You have the Chariot as well. The advice is it's going to take discipline, self-control, and discipline. But you have the power within you to transform. So long as you move forward with as much confidence as you can, right? Moving forward, believing in yourself, even, I'm picking up on. Believing in the possibility, right? Having the strength to face the challenges. I mean, I also get, here's the thing about the Chariot, right? The Chariot is essentially, or was, used in battle and war. And I feel like the advice here is, hey, Pisces, like, this is not going to be a walk in the frickin' park. Okay? It's not going to be, a picnic. But if you are disciplined, if you are focused, if you are confident, and you keep moving, you will find success. You will triumph. You will be victorious. I mean, for goodness sake, the Chariot is a card of victory after all. But the 7 is about faith. So it's like, both are needed. Faith, discipline, strength, control, focus, these are all needed in order to find success, to arrive. Oh yes, and here you have Pleiadian activation coming together, harmony in the heavens and resolution. I do believe this showed up for you as well in the previous reading I did. And, it's interesting because I am getting fear here. You have creating heaven on earth. It's happening, right? When we started out the reading, and there's been all this energy of, heaven and harmony and peace. And now we have coming together, harmony in the heavens, right? Heaven is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and resolution. So the advice here is, again, I feel like it's allow these things to come together. You have an opportunity to create harmony in the heavens. But again, I keep getting the word allow over and over and over and over again. Right? Like this is possible for you. To feel more harmonious, more peaceful within yourself. And not by anything that's going on externally or not going on externally, but simply being in yourself. I mean, I really feel, Pisces, that this could really change how you experience yourself and the world if you let it. I'm going to read this for you before we close out. Actually, I just opened up to the exact page fairly quickly. That was pretty interesting. But I'm going to read this for you from the guidebook before we close out your reading. Okay. Where do we start? Where do we... No. Okay, we're just going to read the message for you. Pleiadian energy is about coming together in peace and harmony. You are blessed to receive this gateway, for it is a powerful message of assurance that whatever uncomfortable energy you are experiencing right now will soon be washed away. The Pleiadians are beings who live in complete honor of their planets and their people. They acknowledge that in seeing and connecting with one another, they have an opportunity to see and experience the divine. They also know the consequences of disrespecting others. It's for this reason that this is no longer possible for them. If you are being challenged by loved ones right now, aim to shift the dynamics of this relationship through a loving approach. The lesson you are facing at this time is an opportunity to heal old wounds and operate from a higher state of being. And I feel like this is the overarching theme of this card. Because your entire reading has not felt, to me, perhaps you've picked up on something else with your own intuition, which perfectly fine. Or maybe that, this has resonated with you in regards to some sort of relationship with someone outside of yourself. But I feel like the overarching advice coming from this card is the lesson you are facing at this time is an opportunity to heal old wounds and operate from a higher state of being. That and the energy of this is about coming together in peace and in harmony, right? It's a powerful message of assurance that whatever uncomfortable energy you are experiencing right now will soon be washed away. Because I do feel like, when you become like this active participant in the co-creation of your reality, and you are practicing non-resistance, and you are allowing yourself to be guided, it does feel that way. There is, that is an absolutely that is absolutely a possibility. But again, take this how it resonates with you. It's your story, right? You know better than anyone what's best for you, what is meant for you, and what isn't. Okay. I do feel like there's this encouragement for you to be asking, is this even mine? Is this good for me? Right? I feel like, but that takes self-awareness. That takes being in your body. And I do feel that this is what is trying to be orchestrated for you this month. Good golly, Pisces. I pray that something here is helpful for you in some way, shape, or form as you navigate December's energies. If something has resonated for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, and subscribing. It tells YouTube that there may be something valuable on the channel for someone else, and I greatly, greatly appreciate you opening that door for them. I also it helps me as an intuitive. So again, I'm incredibly grateful for you doing any of those things. I really hope, Pisces, that you are able to make whatever connections within yourself that are going to bring you to a state of peace and harmony, or a state that is more harmonious and more peaceful. I pray that you are able to experience and feel the love that is held for you by God, Source, Universe, Christ, the angelic hierarchies, the spiritual hierarchies, your ancestors. I pray that you're able to feel that and experience it and allow it and bask in it. And I pray that it relieves some of the weight that you've been carrying. I pray that your heart gets lighter and you find it open and receptive to love in all of its forms and fashions. And I pray that you awaken to something that maybe you've never experienced before, but lights fire within you and brings a deep, deep and big smile to your face. Take care of your evolving, growing, lovable, loving, worthy, powerful soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.